Ang the calendar RSVP at 12:09 a.m. The plus one wasn't me. I'm not jealous of bodies, I'm jealous of invitations. Bodies tell the truth if you stop staging them. Invitations decide which truth is allowed to arrive. At 12:09 a.m. our shared calendar pushed a banner onto my wrist with the cheerful cruelty only software has perfected. Liam RSVP'd yes, Hotel Mirador rooftop reception +1 confirmed. The card bloomed open on my phone when I tapped it. Attire, cocktail. Music, quartet. Notes, ask the bar for the rosemary gimlet. Under guests, a neat parenthesis I didn't own. +1, M. Vale. Liam had texted earlier at 10:43. Bored, wants one more drink. Don't wait up. He had kissed the air near my cheek before leaving our administrative truce and tugged the door shut with both hands like closing a mouth. At 7:05 I'd filmed the coffee because ritual is cheaper than religion and remembers to show up. I captioned it here. He reacted with the thumbs up he keeps for hours that plan to rename themselves. The calendar didn't plan anything, it confessed. I set the phone face down because I was tired of doing bravery with my eyes. The apartment had the posture rooms get when they've rehearsed a story without you. The radiator breathed like an amateur chorus. The hallway practiced neutrality. I boiled water because water does not audition. The kettle sang at midnight and I poured 2 mugs out of habit, then poured one back again. I told myself the cup was a prop, not a lie. At 3:12 the lock cleared its throat. Liam stepped in with his tie loosened and his shoes hooked by 2 fingers like witnesses too tired to lie. He smelled like lime and a decision made in decent lighting. He saw the phone on the counter and his pupils turned into clocks, the small dilation that arrives right before he chooses a verb. "You're up," he said, as if etiquette had mailed me a warning. "The Mirador thinks we're getting married without me," I said. "Rooftop, quartet, +1 who isn't an emergency contact." He put both palms flat on the table the way our therapist taught us when we wanted to give words somewhere to land. The gesture is either dignity or triage. "Which question?" he asked. "Why or who?" "Why," I said, because Matt, my emergency adult, kicks me under imaginary tables when I lead with names. If I start with who, the night gets to write our minutes. "Because the part wasn't coming," Liam said. He looked at the patch of wall where the paint keeps wanting to retire without ceremony. "Because the board clapped at the wrong places and demanded to be forgiven with gin. Because the Mirador's terrace lends people courage they haven't earned. Because Marcus, M. Vale, pitched a donor on the show and said we should practice our gratitude by attending a reception that didn't need us. Because I said yes before the hour deserved it." "Did you kiss him?" I asked, breaking Matt's superstition like a boy with a stick and a fence. Liam's mouth made the shape I collect for truth. "On the elevator once," he said. "Small and honest and wrong, I came home." "I hate how sane that sounds," I said, which is the sentence I use when mercy shows up before I find the tone to hold it. We didn't sleep. We did something more humiliating and useful. We agreed to go to the Mirador at noon when cities pretend to be merciful. The lobby smelled like citrus that had learned to whisper. The woman at the desk had a cathedral's poise. "Welcome back," she said to Liam, the phrase falling between us like a dare. We took the elevator to the rooftop. The terrace, empty in daylight, offered tables with linen like promises that hadn't learned to keep themselves. A quartet case leaned against a chair, open-mouthed. Marcus waited by the rail with a paper cup and the posture of a man prepared to pay for his verbs. He saw us both and didn't pretend surprise, my favorite trick in men who owe the room honesty. "I was coming to apologize," he said, "to you both, and to whatever part of this roof thought it had invented the answer. You don't get to call us both like we're yours, I said, because cleverness is my superstition and I tithe when I'm anxious. Rehearsal is a room, a kiss is a scene, the calendar is a snitch. You don't get to be the verb in our kitchen. Marcus nodded as if he'd learned to teach younger men how to survive their habits. He loves you, he said to me, not looking away. I like being near that. I'm sorry my job uses the same grammar as desire. Liam didn't look at Marcus. He looked at me with the exact weight of a man deciding which door deserved his mouth. I want open windows, he said, not open doors. We left with nothing more dramatic than the river trying to volunteer absolution. At home, I moved the kitchen chair into the middle of the floor because procedures save men when gods won't. Liam smiled like a man relieved to be caught kindly. He came around the table and paused, always that pause, his most decent habit. I met him halfway. The first kiss was apology without speeches. The second had his fingers under my shirt and my hand at the back of his neck, the place he keeps for oaths and sleep. We didn't perform a ceremony. We used heat as a system. If I could draw you the rest without getting evicted by an algorithm that prefers virtue louder than accuracy, I would. You can have breath that belonged to both of us, a belt resigning with grace, a palm pinning a wrist as proof we remembered to ask. The city prefers quizzes. 2 nights later, the Mirador's social account posted a carousel at 1:41 a.m. Hansel light on a mirrored hallway, 4 bodies if you counted reflections. Liam washing his hands, head down. Marcus behind him, tie undone. A stranger passing like a rumor. Me in the doorway because whoever posted had tagged my name. The caption said boys being brave. Comments did what comments do. I typed nothing. I turned the phone face down. I put the chair in the middle of the kitchen and sat until I could laugh. Liam came home and handed me his phone without instructions. Delete or archive, he said. I don't want new grammar. You don't need me to erase your verbs, I said. He rested his forehead against mine like a paperweight on a better draft. 3 days later, the email arrived with fonts that have never had to apologize to a kitchen. Residency, 7 days, quiet rooms, kind windows. Liam forwarded the PDF with every map attached, which is how you know a man has learned where courage keeps its receipts. I want to go without disappearing, he wrote. I'll send pages, not alibis. When I get back, ask me what I wrote before what I did. I taped 2 lines under the rubber orange magnet because props still save us when God is off shift. Addresses in the open. A good night here voice note every day. He added a third in his careful mess. If an I can't is coming, it happens where both of us are. Night 1, wind and a sentence I decided to believe. Today the table forgave me. Night 3, nothing, and my thumb was the worst teenager in the world. I opened the calendar against my will and watched the RSVP glow like a brand. I moved the chair instead. At 8:12 he called with a voice that made the kettle think there might be a God. I almost kissed a window, he said. It didn't know your name. I closed the blinds. He came back with a suitcase that didn't slam and 2 pages he treated like animals. They're not good, he said. They're mine, I said, and we performed our small religion. Paper, kettle, a room that knows it isn't a lobby. He slid his hands under my shirt from behind, slower than contrition, faster than nostalgia. Here, he said into the bend of my neck, which is the only word left that has never demanded witnesses. We tried boring. We failed gracefully. We tried again. Marcus learned to stand at the back of the house with his arms crossed like a man paying the bill he owes himself. He clapped exactly once after the kiss on preview night. He didn't text. Neither did we. The Mirador kept its antlers and its very good lighting. The calendar kept pretending it was a diary instead of an accomplice. One more test. The world is thorough when it thinks you've studied. At 12:07 a.m., a new banner flickered across my phone. Liam added farewell drinks, Hotel Mirador rooftop, 1:00 a.m. Guests, Marcus Vale, +3. I moved the chair. Liam came home at 1:52 with a sentence ready and his hands empty. I walked him to the elevator, he said. He kissed the hallway good night. I kissed the button good decision. Do you want to hate me now or later? I prefer now. I like the way you come back from it. I'm tired of coming back, I said. I want to stay. He touched my jaw with 2 fingers, the intimacy director's sacrament repurposed for domestic faith, and for once the gesture belonged exactly where it landed. We went to bed without performing an essay on forgiveness. We used our mouths the way men do who still prefer heat to cleverness. The room did not applaud. It didn't need to. Weeks alter even honest bruises. The calendar keeps its talent for cheerful cruelty. The Mirador keeps its rooms that want to learn your names and write your captions. I keep the kettle and the chair we move when words try to riot. If another night offers me a RSVP with the kind of honesty nobody asked for, or a window that wants to practice absolution, or a hand on a back that isn't mine easing a man toward a door that refuses to be neutral, I hope I remember the handful of humiliating, useful acts that got us through this one. Put water on. Ask why before who. Hold the breath before contact and let it finish being the scene. Then wait for the lock's small throat clearing, like it's the first note in a song we can still tune to. We didn't get away with anything. We stayed. We are still staying. When Liam says here, my body has stopped auditioning for suspicion. The RSVP can keep its parentheses, the river can keep its absolutions, the rooftop can keep its glass. We'll keep being the address, or, on the nights we can't, we'll be the map that admits its misprints and still shows the way back. Past the lobby that thinks it's a verb, past the elevator eye that loves its own memory, into a kitchen where a chair knows what it's for, a kettle sings at 7:05, and 2 hands that have done worse learn again how to touch without asking the night to edit.